Welcome to the Originals _ podcast. Unfortunately, it's only going to be me today because my other colleagues must have missed the boat. But it's okay. A lot to talk about. We haven't been here in a couple weeks, but let's just jump into it. This is going to be a really straightforward, upfront podcast. Now, let's talk free agency. The Baltimore Ravens did a oops, my fault, renege on the Los Angeles Raiders with that Crosby trade. Then the general manager will come out and say he wanted to get both Crosby and Hendricks. Let's be real. You made a mistake and gave up 2 first-round picks, and then you thought about it. Then all of a sudden, you said, that's too much to get up for Crosby, and let's just go get Hendricks. Not sure how you do business like that, but that's the Ravens for you. They actually screwed over the Raiders, who now have to take back Crosby after making all those free agent signings. Crosby still may move, but if you're a team, would you want to do business with the Ravens again? I wouldn't, because at the end of the day, they knew Crosby had an injury and he was recovering from an injury, but you still did the trade. I've heard that the Ravens have done this before. Maybe this is one of the reasons why you can't get to the Super Bowl. You can't do bad business. You cannot. You cannot do bad business. Now, one of my colleagues that are one of the actual members of this Original _ podcast, VO, he's a San Francisco 49ers fan. And they signed Mike Evans. Is that a good signing? Who knows? Mike Evans has been hurt the last 3 years, and the 49ers have dealt with a lot of injuries over the past 2 years. Their whole defense was injured last year, and they had Ayuk, one of the receivers that they signed to a contract that didn't play this last year. So, is Mike Evans going to play, or is he going to be injured like he had been the rest of those years? These signings and free agency, some of them are peculiar, and some of them are great. We have Homer Dillon, who's a Seattle Seahawks fan. And they didn't put the franchise tag on that running back, right? He told me Kenneth Walker will be signed. First day of free agency, he went to the Chiefs. And they're losing other players. This is one of the things that happen when you win the Super Bowl. Me, as a Philadelphia Eagle fan, I dealt with that once we won the Super Bowl. After you win the Super Bowl, these guys want to be paid. And if you don't franchise tag them or you pay them, this is what you get. Now, he's going to be in that Chiefs backfield, and they've been hurting for a running back for years. Let's see if that's going to be one of those things that keep Patrick Mahomes from getting injured. And that offensive line can run block, and they can have some balance in their offense. The Eagles lost several players. Reed Blankenship went to Houston. Then our linebacker, the heart and soul of our team, went to the Raiders. There had been speculation that Nakobe Dean would go to the Cowboys, but I'm glad he didn't go to the Cowboys. A rival of the Eagles, why would you do that? So he went to the Raiders, even though the Cowboys were trying to offer him this similar money. Oh, well. Once an Eagle, always an Eagle, and just like the Cowboys. You got Kyler Murray going to Minnesota. He should get that job. You got Tua going to the Falcons. I mean, the Falcons are in bad shape. You have James Pierce, who you drafted in the first round last year, who domestic violence may never play for you again. You paid Kirk Cousins too much money, and now he's gone. You drafted a quarterback that's been hurt several times in college, and now he's hurt again. And then you go out and get Tua, who's been hurt, concussions. So I really don't know what they're doing. If I was them, I'd have got Kyler Murray instead of Tua. Now, Kyler Murray has a chance to resurrect his career because he should win that job in Minnesota. Quarterback play in Minnesota last year was horrible and horrendous. He's a capable guy with a lot of skills. And that coaching staff should get him up to speed, and he should win that job. It's a lot of signings that happen. I'm not going to go over all of them. I just wanted to highlight a few that I thought needed to be discussed. And I definitely wanted to touch on the Ravens and them doing bad business. Then once again, Kim Caldwell, what are you doing? In the SEC tournament, you sit your best player. You came out and said you didn't know why, or what did she do to be set? You lose again. And I keep saying that 5 in, 5 out style that you're trying to play will never work in the SEC. Never. You lost your last 7 games, and this is the kind of momentum you're going to take into the tournament. Then I also heard the vice president or the manager of Tennessee came out and said that he loves the direction that the team is going in, and Kim Caldwell will not be fired. Go figure. Sometimes you got to cut your losses. Sometimes you got to cut your losses when you're ahead. She's lost the locker room. And with them losing the locker room, what do you get? You get a team that's uninspired. You get a team that's lost because that coach doesn't know how to make good decisions. Tennessee has a great tradition, and that tradition is being tainted by a coach that's not prepared to actually coach in the SEC. Coaching in the MAC conference and the SEC is a 360. So we'll see what happens in this tournament. Today is Selection Sunday for the men's and the women's tournament. Should be exciting. We already know the number 1 seeds on the women's side. You have UConn, UCLA, Texas, as well as South Carolina. I'm going to make one good point, though. We need to get rid of these SEC tournaments and stuff like that. No team has a regular schedule where you're playing 3 games in 3 days. It's a lot of stress, and injuries can happen when you're playing that many games consecutively. South Carolina won the regular season, and that should have been it. Texas beat them in the championship, but that SEC tournament should be abolished, because what good is it when you're putting these teams through these stressful situations, because they'll never play 3 games in 3 games in a row during the season or in the NCAA tournament. Unless it could be some different scheduling, you may have to rethink that tournament, because not only did it hurt South Carolina, because they was the number 3, the number 1 seeds, to push them down to number 4. That changes the direction of where they're going to play at. Also changes their actual position when getting to the Final Four. College football needs to do the same thing. Some of these conference championships mean nothing. All it does is put stress on teams. Congratulations to Texas. You came out and you punched South Carolina in the mouth and you won. Congratulations. But that gives Texas an edge because they beat them twice this year. Now they're the number 3, number 1 seed. I mean, UConn, sure, they're undefeated, but you're playing a big lease. Not the Big East, the big lease. You have 0 competition in that conference, and you're undefeated. Well, let's see if you can get back to the championship without Paige Beckers. People fail to realize that last year, UConn was stacked. You had 3 number 1 overall players on the same team. Paige Beckers, AZ Fudd, and Sarah Strong. No other team has 3 number 1 overall players on the team. So you had the best team, and you should have won. You take Paige Beckers off this team, and now you have AZ Fudd and Sarah Strong, who has faced really no competition. And we'll probably have an easy route to the Final Four. But when you get to that Final Four, it's going to be teams that can that have more than 2 players that can compete against you. Now let's see what happens this year. I'm really curious to see exactly what's going to happen later today on the selection, to see exactly what role they have and if they have anybody within their bracket that can beat them. Louisville gave them a great game, and I think Louisville is a good team that could beat them. Tennessee was in the game the first half, but that poor coaching by Kim Caldwell, they just fell apart in the second half. That was an opportunity for her to get us a significant win by changing her philosophy a little bit. Hey, let's not do this hockey style in and out since we're in this game. But did she change? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And this is one of the things I say, people, a lot of the coaches get these jobs, but are they qualified? Are they qualified to be these coaches in these conferences? I truly don't believe so. But this is the world we live in. Opportunities, opportunities, opportunities. I'm really curious to see how after this free agent push, the draft, and how this football season is going to transpire this year. It's a lot of intriguing things is happening, but we got to see what happens on paper. On paper, is it going to be exactly what it is? Maybe, maybe not. We will see. We will see, for sure. But this is sports, right? Sports are always have you curious, learning the different things that's happening. But time will tell. Time will tell. The NBA. I just don't know. You got a lot of guys that just want to, load management. And it's like when you have these kids that like these superstars and like these players, but then you buy tickets to go to the game and then sitting on the sideline in street clothes. That's just why I just pivoted to the college game. It's just not exciting anymore. Everybody just wants to shoot 3-pointers. Nobody wants to play big man basketball. Everybody wants to be a guard. Then you got the commissioner with this dumb tournament as soon as the season starts. Commissioner's Cup. This is not college basketball. You don't have tournaments in basketball. In order to fix basketball, you need to change the games from 82 down to 60. You need to have a 3-game series in the first round to make it more exciting. Baseball made changes. NBA, you need to make changes. 82 games is way too long. If you want to have players sitting out 20, 25 games a season, what's the point of having 82 games? That first round series should be 3-game series to make everybody play hard. You'll see upsets and to make it more exciting. But at this rate, I don't even watch it. It's hard to watch. It's boring. And I just don't like it. I just don't like it. I'm not sure about anybody else, but the basketball has changed completely. And it's just boring. I have no interest in it. And what's really funny is I play fantasy basketball. Like today is the last day before the playoffs for fantasy basketball. And I play on Yahoo. And now they'll keep saying game time decision until the game starts. And then that puts you at a disadvantage because then you have a player in your lineup that's not going to give you any kind of stats. Yahoo, please make improvements. Please make improvements. Please make improvements. Yeah, I mean, once again, when I was talking about basketball, right? Bam Adebayo scoring 83 points. That's why I told you NBA is not fantastic. It's a clown show. Viewership has dropped tremendously because nobody want to watch a clown show. Bam Adebayo is not a player that can score, that has the ability or the skill set to be scoring 83 points. And when you look at the stat line, he should have scored 100. 7 for 22 from three-point range, and I think he missed about 12 free throws. So if you really hit a couple more shots to make your free throws, that's 100 points. Today's game is soft. Everybody's friends. There's no rivalries. It's just boring basketball. Boring, boring, boring. And then you have 82 games of boring basketball. What is the point? Commissioner, you need to make changes. The All-Star game, garbage. All-Star festivities, garbage. I mean, if you want to change, allow these athletes that are doing 360, 720 dunks that they show on YouTube to be in the contest. Make it more exciting. The dunk contest hasn't been exciting since Vince Carter and Dwight Howard. You screwed Aaron Gordon, who should have won 2 slam dunk contests, but that's why he won't compete again, because you had these whack referees that were giving Zach LaVine points after he copied off of what Aaron Gordon was doing. No originality at all. He just copied off of every dunk that Aaron Gordon did, and you allow him to win. With judges like Dwayne Wade, Candace Parker, suspect, both of them. Just because you was in Chicago, you ain't need those two actually being referees. They screwed Aaron Gordon and messed up the dunk contest. And it's been trash ever since. Complete trash. Nobody even tunes in. The game is not important. It's just a watered down game, not competitive, with dudes that are soft, right? I just don't get it. I won't be watching, that's for sure. And I used to love the NBA. Back when it was the real NBA, where teams wouldn't change jerseys after games, or even, hugging after games. You still had rivalries when the game was good. Just like with college basketball. This one and done rule is horrible. You don't get to see a team develop. And then you got guys that are not ready to go to the NBA just because they have a great college season. And what happens? Goes to the NBA, flame out. School Henderson, for example. Everybody hyped him up. And what is he now? A role player? They got drafted number 2 in the league. You look at some of these prospects this year. They all talking about this guy Peterson. He's a regular 6'5" guard that can hit a 3-point shot. But he's been unavailable about 8 to 10 games this season. So he already know what load management is in college. You got some of these talking heads that say he should be the number 1 pick. Talking heads, talking heads, talking heads. The extreme talent is the guy in BYU, AJ. Upside galore. Peterson, you'll see another Peterson next year. A 6'5" guy that with a jump shot. Matter of fact, you had one on Arkansas. 6'5" guy with a jump shot. Can put it on, can dribble. Same thing. Nobody's talking about Thomas like they're talking about Peterson. And to me, they ain't the same person. So you have AJ, you have Caleb Wilson from North Carolina, upside. You got Boozer from Duke, and Boozer is good, but he just seems fundamental. Is this going to translate to the NBA? I'm not sure, but he came in and had a heck of a season to do. Props to him. But some of these teams that are drafting these guys, they turn out to be just role players. And you're drafting them in the top 10. How's that a good investment? I just don't understand how now one and done. Most of the time, you're not even fully developed. But they're saying, and by looks of some of the talent, this is one of the best drafts. But what I see is a whole bunch of guards, a whole bunch of point guards. In today's game, our point guards controlling the game like they did before. I mean, you got OKC, he's basically controlling the game. When you look around the NBA, a guard's the end all be all. You got Wembley, you got Joker. These guys are really the centerpieces of your team. So when you have a guard-focused draft like this draft, is it really important to get a guard? Is that the right investment for your team? And we'll see. I mean, if you're number one and you take Peterson over AJ, good luck. Good luck. Listen to those talking heads and see where it gets you. Atlanta Falcons hired Matt Ryan, no skills, but that's what we get. You would never see them hire a black person with no skills in a role like that just because he's liked, just because he was the quarterback of the Atlanta Falcons. He got that position. Do his credentials meet that position? No. Arthur Blank just liked him, thought he was a great quarterback for his team, and gave him a job. Just imagine if it worked like that for us. We like them, we get opportunities. White America at its best. White America at its best. But, this was just a solo session of Originals_Sports podcast. Just wanted to touch on a couple topics. Hopefully all of us will be back here next week. I say follow us. We're on all the social media sites. YouTube, Spotify, TikTok, any way you can find your podcast, subscribe and like. We invite any comments, good, better, or indifferent. Come on a podcast, talk to us. Let's have a sports discussion. At the end of the day, we have different minds, and this is 100% real. It's not scripted. We're not forced to say anything about the Cowboys or anything about this and anything about that. We talk about what we want to talk about. A real sports show, which you don't have anymore on ESPN, and all these other channels. You have scripted content that they are forced to talk about certain things because it's in their contract. So if you want True Sports, the original _ podcast is where you need to come. Peace.